I am so thankful for the wise words of wisdom that came from our parents, our teachers, our neighbors, all those who believed in the old African adage, it takes a village to raise a child. Those words of wisdom are still with me, and I will share them, especially for the ears of the young. I grew up at a time when we used to write on what was called the slate. See it in the picture there. And when the writing was not too clear, visible, well structured, they told us the penmanship was bad and we were writing crapple belly. And they encouraged us to improve on our writing back then. So I grew up at a time, yes, when even the time when we were writing on slate, the words of wisdom fell on our ears. Those sayings were spotlights that guided us to the path that led to knowledge. And one must not underestimate the wisdom that emanated from the proverbs, the idioms, and other expressions we are taught. Remember, friends, wisdom does not come overnight. It takes time. But we were taught from very young. If one is tempted to get even with another, it is wise to remember that two wrongs don't make a right. Consider a situation where you want a special type of shoe and it is on sale. People are usually attracted to sales, especially when the bargains are good. So it pays to be early for the sale because the early bird catches the worm. You are at the limits of your patience, otherwise called your wit's end. You are tried and you are tested by the rigors of life, things tough. You are tempted to give up. At this point, a good piece of advice is to tie a knot and hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Have patience. We are told that patience can melt a big stone. Situations change, and an optimistic view of the future might be a boost for your spirit. An old reggae song by Delroy Wilson asserts that the better must come. Despite the trying circumstances, one should never give up. Never give up hope, for where there is a will, there is a way. A famous man once said, keep hope alive. And the Trinidadian Calypsonian, the Black Stallion, rightly tells us in one of his songs that we can make it if we try. We can make it if we try. Now, if you are extremely busy but you are pressed for time to get things done quickly, always be sure to get them done right. For haste makes waste. It is also important to pay attention to small matters that need to be remedied, for a stitch in time saves nine. Now, if you become the object of ridicule and laughter because you are doing what you know is right and proper, don't be disheartened when people laugh at you, for he who laughs last, laugh best. Now, if you discover that the wealthy people in your community are generally treated better and have easily accessing the opportunities for economic and social advancement, it could just be a case of money talks, and we know money talks BS walks. Imagine you are the owner of a store and you are unkind to your customers and you utter rash and insulting words at them. You might end up chasing them away and your business would likely suffer. They would even bad talk you. It is therefore essential to change your attitude and be polite. For remember what we are told. You catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Never make yourself too comfortable in the homes of people. Remember the old adage, fish and guests smell after 3 days. Don't make yourself too comfortable. In an attempt to gain votes, many politicians, they use well-chosen, attractive, high-sounding words. You'll think they're talking like Cicero, the old orator. But intelligent people know it is plain tomfoolery and mamagism. Nice-sounding words, empty drums. You see a smile on someone's face and you're wondering if it is a genuine smile. Be careful and remember what our ancestors said. All skin teeth is not laugh. Events happen and in their appropriate time. And the book of Ecclesiastes reinforces that truth with the words, there is a time and a season for everything under heaven. Remember, there's a natural order in human progress, so you have to creep before you walk. We see people trying to walk before they creep. There are people who keep feeling regretful and sorrowful about the past. And some have a right to be fearful of their future because of their past. It is, however, important to remember that the past is gone. The past is gone. And it is wise to let bygones be bygones and never cry over spilt milk. Also, don't joke and sneeze, eh? Don't raise trouble unnecessarily. Let sleeping dogs lie. The word unnecessarily, eh? Remember that. Those who newly acquire jobs, they often try to impress, and you'll find that because new brooms sweep clean. However, the older brooms always have the advantage, but the old brooms know the corners. So the usefulness of the lessons taught by our parents, our teachers, our neighbors, contained in the Proverbs was not restricted to the old and were not restricted, I should say that again, were not restricted to the young and inexperienced. For one is never too old to learn. Many of our relatives left and they traveled to distant countries like Britain, Canada, the United States, and they traveled there with the hope of bettering themselves economically and otherwise. And for many, and there are stories that they can relate to you. Talk to people whose grandparents went to England, whose grandparents traveled to England years ago, and they'll tell you of the difficulties, the struggle that they had to endure. But encouragement was always important, and sometimes found in the saying, no gain without pain. And when news was slow in coming about how relatives were faring in the distant lands, we were often comforted with the thought that no news was good news. There were individuals who try to dissuade others from going abroad. Boy, don't go abroad, boy. Trouble over there. Don't go. And we have to go back to the saying: a great talker is a great liar. Because rumors, similar to people, is a great traveler. And rumors could just be only that, rumors. Rumors. Those who arrived in countries like England and were unable to fend for themselves found it necessary to seek the help of neighbors and good and proven friends. In this way, they lived out the truism that no man is an island, and a number of the immigrants became jack of all trades, well, master of none. And in many cases, the progress was slow but sure. However, we drew comfort from the notion that good things come to those who wait. Well, one might take issue with that, with that saying, good things come to those who wait. One might take issue and cite the story told by the Calypsonian, the mighty Bomber, who sang about waiting on a woman while hoping for the best. You know, the man ended up getting a flogging from a jealous husband after waiting on her for many, many hours. He waited and he got a flogging. Yes, good things come to those who wait. Well, he got a flogging. I'll stop here. But again, to reinforce the point, our elders spoke to us, our parents spoke to us, our neighbors spoke to us, and what they told us were words of wisdom. An ounce of prevention is better than a whole pound of cure, Sparrow sang that in one of his songs. The upholder is as bad as the thief. And you want to catch a thief? The best way to catch a thief is to set a thief to catch a thief. Anthony Wendell the Riggs. God bless you. God bless you.